reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
MMO Reporter's PAX Prime coverage is brought to you by Dragon Fantasy, The Black Tome of Ice, a 16-bit styled JRPG coming soon on Steam, iOS, Android, 3DS, and Wii U.
So thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking to you about the Heroes Awaken update for ArcheAge. This is basically the update that's called 2.0 in Korea, and it also includes the 1.8 Korean update. So it's kind of a double content update, and we're going to show off some of the high-level features for you today. We're on a character right now that's located in Austera, which is the main port city of the Eastern Harani faction. And we're in what's called the Heroes Hall. This is a new area that's devoted to the hero system, which is the headlining feature for Heroes Awaken. Basically, when the update goes live, all players will be able to earn leadership points. And you gain leadership points through World PvP, through recommendations from other players when you group with them. And so you can amass these leadership points. At the end of a 3-week cycle, the top 20 players per faction that have the most leadership points will appear on a candidate ranking system. And so then if you're lucky enough to be one of the hero candidates, all players in the faction have the ability to vote on you. And so the top 10 candidates become actual heroes of the faction. There's 4 different tiers for heroes, starting with the Ionod hero, then moving down to tier 2, which are kind of generals. They're the Ionod heroes, Delphinod heroes, and Ephirium heroes. When you become a hero, you receive a cloak in-game, and that cloak provides statistical bonuses like plus 100 stamina, and then additional benefits based on what tier hero you are. The cloak also really looks cool. This is an example of one of them on the screen now. You gain a unique particle effect too, and then any other players in your faction, along with NPCs that are within 25 meters, share the same benefits that your cloak gives to the hero. So it's pretty good statistical benefits provided all around for everybody who's on the same faction.
So you mentioned that you'd be able, players who you group with would be able to give you recommendations for that. What are you doing to stop people from gaming that, grouping with their guild all the time, and then just farming those recommendations?
There's a base level of recommendations that you can get through grouping, and it's throttled as well. So you can only accumulate a set amount per day through recommendations. The bulk of leadership points really come from World PvP, which is kind of an uncapped way to earn leadership points. There's also limiters, like you have to be level 30 to provide certain leadership benefits or leadership points. And you also have to be a level 30 and have a set amount of leadership points to vote for the hero. So it's not just anybody. You have to have put in at least some work for the system.
We're going to have people creating a whole bunch of new accounts to game it.
And I mean, these are all things that have been considered when the system was designed by Excel, because they are, of course. So the first thing we look at is how are people going to try and game the system?
How can we, this is new and shiny. How can we break it?
And then also, how can we make this so it's not exclusively a popularity contest? And that's because you have to do the base level of work to appear in the voting just to begin with. So when you're a hero, you can do a couple things. The first thing is you gain these quests on this board. You can activate them. They last for a week, and they're provided to your entire faction. You can also access the mobilization banners, which is my favorite part of the hero system. So these are positioned all over the world. When a hero walks up to them, they can activate them, and it creates a call to action for everybody who's online in the faction alliance that has a set amount of leadership points. They get a pop-up box that says, your hero is calling you into battle. Do you wish to join or no? If you click yes, you're immediately teleported to the mobilization orders position, and then you can follow the directives of your hero.
You also get summon their faction to them.
Yeah, you get rewarded for answering the call to action too. As the normal player, you gain warriors medals, and those are what you would normally gain in Conflict in Halcyona and in Mist Marrow currently.
You've got a hero that spots an enemy faction. They've got a big group that's there. They're like, hey, come on, guys, you come to me right now, and we're going to kick some ass.
Right, and the way that they would do it now is say, everybody port to this location, right? But there's something so much more epic about a hero calling everybody into battle. And so in the Heroes Hall right now, there are 10 thrones that are positioned on this platform here, and only the heroes who hold the position can sit on these thrones.
Like, I'm not a hero, so I can't sit here.
There's no statistical benefit or anything. It's just kind of the bragging rights stage, I guess. And so we're going to port now to the re-envisioned version of Diamond Shores, which is kind of where all of the battle happens in Heroes Awaken.
Fast portal casting.
We can cheat. You can just GM port there.
Teleport it.
One of the new load screens, pretty cool. Kind of depicts the conquest of Aurora. And so this area should look familiar to you. This is the Diamond Shores area with the library in the center. But the landscape has changed pretty drastically. The pavilions that were here before that supported NPCs and just kind of a staging area have evolved into fortresses. This is a Tier 1 Harani fortress currently. So any players that are on the Harani side can gain quests from the NPCs in there, and under the directive of their guild leaders and heroes, begin construction of the fortress. They gather resources from the area around here and donate them to the base, and the fortress ultimately ranks up. And it's kind of like a public siege system that's persistent that all players can participate in. As the base ranks up in level, it provides more quests and additional benefits to faction members. And you can see in the distance as well, there's the Nuian base. You can kind of see the outline of it. And these are in close proximity to each other, so the war is going to be pretty tense here. Heroes can mobilize their forces to either of those faction locations. And yeah, there's going to be a throwdown in Diamond Shores. You can also see on the Diamond Shores map that the water has receded. Normally it went all the way around that center area, but it's receded now, and the landscape has changed. Previously, there was only housing available on the western side of Diamond Shores, but now it's available on the eastern side as well, with a similar size area that's available to claim. There's also bungalows and aqua farms that are on the eastern side. The reason that division happened is there's kind of the west side of the zone is owned by the Nuians and the eastern side is by the Harani. Now, you can place a house anywhere you like. Pirates can even place houses here. But there are faction-aligned NPCs and guards on either side that can kind of help reinforce your faction's claim in that area.
See if our buddies are up over here.
There are some dwarves that spawn around this area, and it's the first time we've seen dwarven NPCs in ArcheAge. And of course, dwarves were originally talked about as being a playable race in ArcheAge, so it's neat to see them come in, just kind of how they look and the nuances of the dwarves. But it doesn't look like they're going to visit us right now.
I don't know if it's a bug or if it's... I think it's meant to be the see-through horse does not cast a shadow.
That's correct.
That's awesome.
But your character does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's really cool.
You know, we have all kinds of I believe things in place around this horse because it can't wear armor. Right. So we made up reasons why it can't wear armor. And that's because it has to be an organic creature on the back of the horse in order to not fall through it. Normal armor would. It can, however, equip armor. It just doesn't display.
It doesn't actually show.
The real reason is because when XL designs the armor, the interior texture of the armor that would lay against the mount is not developed. So you would be able to see through the horse and see these undeveloped textures. So armor visuals were just disabled on Soulmare. But I think our reason's more fun.
I agree.
Lore.
Another headlining feature in Heroes Awaken is actually, we'll talk about this map real quick. So in ArcheAge, you can ping locations on the map, and people in your group in faction or raid can see those ping locations. More functionality has been added around adding rally points to the map. You can add attack points to the map. And then also draw a line or a path of attack for your group members to follow. And if you look up at the mini-map, you can see, it's in plain view, so you can say, here, we'll start here, we'll rally at this point, and then we'll move to our objective along this path. And then you can also see members in your group that are just not following directions at all and are running around aimlessly. But yeah, more functionality for the leader and heroes to direct their players in battle. We also have new guild management tools. In ArcheAge, the guild system is very simple. It's just a matter of having a tag under your name and then organizing ranks of members. But with Heroes Awaken, we add the ability for guild leaders to advertise their guild through an in-game interface. They can post a message saying, this is our guild, this is what we're all about. You should join us. These are our primary play times. So they post that advertisement for 3 or 9 days, and it costs a small amount of gold to place the advertisement. And then as a player who's looking for a guild, you can basically compare all of the guilds who are recruiting at this time that have posted advertisements. If it suits your playstyle, you can click on the guild and apply through this interface. And then the guild leader and officers can review your application and then deny it or add you to the guild. So it's taking that kind of out-of-game experience of hey, visit our website and apply, and then jump into TeamSpeak or whatever the process is for that guild, and kind of putting as much of it into the game as we can, just to help people play with other people. That's really what ArcheAge is about.
Find people into the same things they are.
The guilds can also level up now, so they can gain from levels 1 through 8. They do so by members participating in guild quests enacted by the leader. They also earn prestige points for their participation, and those prestige points can be spent at the guild shop, buying cool things like top-end cloaks. You can also buy Luna Scales, which is a new type of gem to socket into armor or weapons that does not fail when you socket it. So I know a lot of folks will be looking forward to that. And you can spend your prestige earned from guild activities. When your guild hits level 3, you are also entered into the guild dominion system, which is all-out guild versus guild combat that ignore the rules of normal PvP. So guards will not help. You can PvP in safe areas. The war lasts for an hour, and the guild that gets the most kills during that time ultimately wins the dominion period and receives prestige. You also get prestige for losing, and you can only declare against another guild 3 times per day, with increasing cost every time you declare war. So, for instance, if you declared against the same guild 3 times, I believe it's 2,500 gold to declare that war. So there is some significant cost to wage war.
And can you, does that count as the world PvP for the hero system?
It does not.
Okay.
So a guild versus guild combat says it can be similarly aligned guilds fighting each other. So you can be Nuian versus Nuian guild.
Yeah.
That was removed because you can kind of game the system when earning leadership points. So it's only honor-granting world PvP that gives leadership.
And under Dominion, I don't know if you mentioned this, you can fight anywhere, and guards won't be involved.
Yep.
City won't. You can be in the middle of Marianople and have a guild versus guild war.
Yep, and we see some situations now where maybe another guild is blockading in a safe area.
Yep.
Blockading trade routes. You can just declare war on them at that point if they're level 3 or higher, and settle it the old-fashioned way.
Yep.
And so
Do they have to accept, or
no? If you're level 3, you're automatically
You're
opted in.
yep.
Leveling your guild is a manual process for the leader by
you have to
clicking the
actually
button.
click.
So if you don't want to ever participate in guild wars, you just stay level 2. And all
won't
of the
gain
bonus
access to these,
functionality is from ranks 3 through 8 are primarily PvP focused things. But we like encouraging PvP. So.
Right.
And we're going to port now to Villanelle, where we have a couple houses set up, because in Heroes Awaken, we gain our first really big, good housing upgrade system. And we love our houses in ArcheAge, so this has been a fan favorite so far. I know a lot of folks are waiting for this.
I'm waiting for this, actually.
Me
I'm so
too.
hyped about this. So,
And so we have a couple houses set up now. The one we just ported into is the traditional 24 by 24 farmhouse that you can get in ArcheAge currently. We can access the management panel on the house now, and there's a new remodel button. When you click that button, this new interface pops up, and you can select the type of farmhouse you'd like to upgrade to. You can preview what it looks like, and you can actually rotate a house that's already been placed through this interface, which is cool because in ArcheAge, when you claim land, you kind of just throw the land down as quickly as you can so no one else takes it. But now you have the chance to cosmetically modify the positioning and just the way it looks as well.
the land grab when every new housing area opens up, right? When you can place new housing in an area?
Yeah, and especially with 2.0 because we have new servers coming out. We have fresh start servers in North America. The server's name is Morpheus. And in Europe, it's called Rangora. And those are going to be completely fresh servers on the 2.0 update. So players will have the initial ArcheAge experience with all of the fancy bells and whistles that we have now. And there's a lot of hype around that.
Yeah.
A lot of excitement. And so if we look now, there's 3 farmhouses that have been built. This is one of each type. And the main functionality they gain is there's some smaller gardens on the bottom side of it where you can place up to 50 seeds into these, and then they grow as kind of like a little garden. Now, the footprint around the house hasn't changed at all, so you can still grow in that space. But this kind of gives you more flexibility with what you can grow. Yep. And this house is the mining version, so there's a drill that you can harvest every hour to get metal and stone.
Oh, 9 minutes.
There's a new workbench that's added that allows you to expediently craft trimmed meat or ground grain, and these are the components that are, I would say, tier 1 crafting components that are processed from raw goods. So it allows you to not sit there for half an hour processing ground grain. You can now
10
do
at
it
a
in
time,
bundles.
Yeah.
There's also a daily quest that you can pick up from each of these houses, and it basically asks for something that's kind of related to what the house does. And if you have those materials, you're rewarded with 5 gold and a Gilda star, and you can do those every day.
Raw stone, for instance, on this one.
And so the next version of this farmhouse, the main difference is instead of the mining drill, it has an animal pen. So we have 5 cows placed in it now. Depending on the size of the animal, it can support up to 50 chickens. I believe it's 10 pigs. Mm-hmm. And that's in replacement of the mining drill. The rest of the functionality of this farmhouse is the same.
So it's also got its 50 seed garden plots underneath as well. Same workbench, same water barrel.
And then the last version is the gardening version, and instead of the pen or the drill, it has another planter.
So it's 150 seeds total. And this one has a mushroom growing on it, which I'm totally going to go take. Mushrooms. So on these new houses, now the idea of plants kind of growing on the farmhouse is there. And so randomly things will spawn, like the rare to find seeds, like the fungus or the vanilla or some of the pepper. You just find them growing on people's houses. Anyone can pick them.
They grow on the roof as well,
you go
like
steal
just randomly all over the place.
Like this one has a pepper growing on it too. It's kind of cute.
And so we'll move now to the medium and large size houses. These also gain 3 customizations, but they're different. These are more centered around crafting. The house we're at now is the component house, consumables. So basically you can craft alchemical potions, food items, and spell books from printing here. But the benefit to doing it at this house is you craft it immediately to the top tier of the potion. So when you're crafting potions in ArcheAge, you normally have to rank up tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and it's an upgrade process. But this allows you to craft at the top tier using all of the materials that would normally be required if you craft it up.
So it's like a combined package of the mats for all of the lower tiers, but no sub potion is required, just straight up.
And plus it gains this upper deck kind of area where it's essentially a 3rd floor to the house. It can support furniture. It's pretty cool. This is the same thing as how the farmhouses have that ability to craft ground grain expediently. This allows you to craft leather, cloth, iron ingots with the same expedience and no skill requirements. Second version of this house does the same thing, but it's for item crafting, and you can craft up to sealed illustrious items in one single go instead of having to do that upgrade process. There's also this teleporter on the side. It's because wow.
That was terrible.
It's because the stairs are not too functional on this house. I mean, you can do it if you're perfectly aligned, but for everybody else, there's that teleporter.
Fast teleport. Yeah. Way easier.
These provide pretty good benefits to crafters.
And so similar to the other workbench, this does craft you straight to a sealed illustrious without having to make the lower steps. Uses a combined package of materials roughly equivalent to all of those lower tiers. Even though you see, magnificent Ethereum Delphinaut on here, once you reach that tier, it does still require the appropriate illustrious item. So this is not going to skip the specific unsealed item requirements for these higher tiers. It just gets you there kind of a little bit faster.
And so the third type of medium and large house is the trade pack house.
Oh, I'm gonna miss it.
Is she gonna make the landing?
No, not even close.
Almost.
Went the wrong way.
So if you decide to upgrade to this version of the house, you can craft trade packs inside of it. Normally in ArcheAge you would have to go to a craft trade pack workbench in the world or a fellowship plaza, but this allows you to actually make trade packs inside of your house. They all require the same amount of materials, but the pack differs based on the region that your house is placed in. It can only be placed in the east or western continents. Currently, it cannot be supported on Aurora. But this is kind of interesting because now if you have a house on the coast, your trade pack runs could originate from a location that no one anticipates them coming from. So it gives you an element of surprise when running trade packs. And then, of course, the functionality of crafting it in your own home means you don't have to transport it here for storage in between trade runs. There's also the ability to craft the packs from this bottom area instead of at the top. So if you want to place them down right after you make them, you can.
If it's safe outside or whatever, you can just go down here and craft them quickly.
In Heroes Awakened, pets also can be leveled up to 55, and now players can craft armor for them through this new workbench in the house. The armor that you craft has stats, set bonuses, go for it.
I was going to say players, so pets gain armor sets similar to players where they have set bonuses, where they have specific stats. So some of these sets are better for melee pets, some are better for caster pets or tank pets. They have grades, they have an upgrade path. So they finally actually have gear options for your pets.
And so now you can craft gear for your character, you can craft components for your ships, and now also pet armor. A lot of things you can do.
Yeah.
And we had two really cool houses set up kind of in the background here. You can see them in the distance. They're those nice-looking chalet-style houses. So the purple one we gave away at the Gamescom Tryon Worlds party. And tonight we're going to give away the one that has this crimson red roof. Anybody in attendance at our party is receiving that house. It's pretty cool because it's a 28 by 28 house and it comes pre-built. So as soon as you place it down, it's formed. It doesn't require resources.
Give me the door. Oh, no.
We have an issue with these houses on our localization server, which the server we're on now, that when we walk away from the house, if the windows are open, they stay open but appear closed. So that's why when we click them, they do this like close then open thing.
This is a dev shard, basically, so it's a very low memory environment, and it doesn't save all of the zone states.
Yeah. But it's a good-looking house. Has those marble walls and that nice chandelier, so I think people are excited about getting one of these.
Yeah, it's very unique in style compared to some of the other styles of house we have.
So our release date for Heroes Awaken is September 12th at 1 p.m. Pacific, and that's a Saturday. And the main reason we're launching on a Saturday is because we believe that's the kind of prime time opportunity for everybody to land rush. And
that's what I was going to say. If you launch on a weekday, everybody says, I got to work. It's not fair.
And plenty of people in ArcheAge would schedule PTO or something like that when we had updates. Yeah. So we just said, you know what, we'll take it on us this time. We'll work all weekend. And, we hope that everybody has a fair opportunity to land rush.
Yeah.
And similar to our previous releases, when we have a land rush involved, the servers will be held until 1 p.m. So even if technically they are ready to be open slightly early, we will not be opening them early so that people don't have to be kind of sitting at their desk spamming the play button waiting for them to open earlier than 1 p.m.
And so
that must always be interesting to sit in the dev office as you've released other areas that players could put housing into, and as you've gone through, to just watch the mass of players go in and try and get those spots. I mean, that's got to be, a little bit, how can I put it, a little bit like Benny Hill, get yakety sax going in the background.
There's a lot of things around the way houses are claimed in ArcheAge that would just blow your mind. I mean, I've seen it from the player perspective as me as a player, and then watching it invisible as a GM as players run through it. But we have some dedicated folks who will go to our public test realm and time themselves on the run from where the zone line is to where they want to place their house, and they run it over and over, sometimes on their mount, sometimes in a car, teleporting, just to see how quickly they can get there. So they have their plan 100% in order before we go. But it's fantastic to watch this otherwise flat, quiet zone just become populated in a matter of 15 minutes.
Usually, yeah.
Is it whether it's faster to run around that rock or jump over that rock,
or glide over it, or fly over it, or Yep. A lot of factors.
It must be really rewarding for the development team to see that kind of passion from your players.
It's great, and there's a lot of competition because the best spots for land in ArcheAge are just command some of the highest prices of anything that you can own in the world. And seeing players succeed and getting the spot they want and being proud of that location is really what our open world housing is about. We were riding a Griffin earlier. That's not available in the game, but when Heroes Awaken goes live, we're having a 30-day long celebration called the Heroes Welcome. Every player in ArcheAge will get this Griffin for free. It's temporary. It lasts for 7 days, but through quests, you can make it permanent. And it's probably one of our best-looking mounts, maybe compared to the Pegasus as far as flying goes, but it just has some pretty great animations.
That's pretty killer right there. That's pretty...
We're excited. We also have server evolutions going on and character transfers, and it's challenging when you have an open world game. How do you condense all of that housing, and make it a decent experience? So we realized that there's some things we just absolutely couldn't do because the technical logistics behind it are extremely difficult. So we thought that one way we can help, balance that out is by having a great event for everybody and giving away a bunch of free stuff that people like our best mount. So
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's told you, but people on the internet like free stuff.
yes,
So
we've heard that.
Yes.
And we've listened, and here comes a griffin,
Here
right?
comes some free stuff.
We also have a cool mount coming into the marketplace shortly after the
all still
update.
in Korean.
We're really proud of this mount too.
It's a 9-tailed fox, the Gumiho mount, and it does have its own special armor that will be available with it.
Cool looking mount.
Yeah, and I don't have the armor, or I would show you.
So we've talked about, I think, 5 features from Heroes Awaken. Our feature list is about 38 items, but these are just the high-level ones. As I said, it was the 1.8 and 2.0 updates wrapped into the same one. We also are standing up the new servers at the same time. So it's a busy month for ArcheAge. It's also our 1-year anniversary celebration that's going on now in-game. So it's an exciting month for us. What questions can we answer for you?
Next time.
I think that was fantastic. That was a really, really great demo.
Good.
And you went over everything really, really well. You've got the change in the landmass and everything like that. How long? You said 15 minutes. Let's see. We're on tape right now. How long do you think it'll take from the minute the server spools up for the fastest server to get the the housing full?
Okay, so it's broken into different segments, and there are different servers, so I'm going to go through the list.
Okay.
I think Diamond Shores, since we're wiping the housing and
Yeah.
now there's the east and west areas, all of Diamond Shores will be claimed on most servers, I would say within 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay.
Yes. Especially because that's where the war happens, and
Yeah,
if you have
yeah.
ports there,
Yeah.
you can port to your house there and be involved
Right.
in the war very quickly.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for a hero to call you into battle.
Yeah.
Diamond Shores will be claimed in 10 minutes. That does not include the aqua farms and bungalows because there'll probably be availability for those for a while. But
Yeah.
all mainland houses will be claimed quickly.
That's fast.
It is very
That's
fast. And watching everybody with their plans, I mean, guilds organize kind of takeovers of areas. On the evolution servers, and let's see, Morpheus and Rangora. I would estimate that every piece of land will be taken on Morpheus and Rangora within 4 hours.
Wow.
And that's just because they have to start with new characters.
Yeah.
So you have to earn the deeds to place down.
Yeah.
But as we saw at launch, guilds have initiatives where half of the guild will be earning the patterns through quests, and they'll send them to the mail to people who are already in position to claim complete zones in the name of their guild.
Wow.
So there's a high level of coordination
Wow.
that occurs. And yeah, I'd say 4 hours.
Wow.
I do feel that it will be slower than it was at launch because there are certain items that are being removed or taken off of the store on those fresh start servers that won't be available, that were available at launch, that helped some people get those houses faster.
We also have the limitation that you can only have 2 unbuilt houses now. So players can't just spam patterns all over the place. They actually can only
It'll
have
take a
2,
while
and they have
longer.
to build it to place a third. But I think just the hype around those servers is really crazy
Yeah.
right now. And everybody kind of wants that fresh ArcheAge experience all over again with all of the functionality from 2.0.
Yep.
So
There's
we're
been some
excited
good
about it.
improvements. There's been some good cleanups, and those things won't happen on those new servers, and people are looking forward to
We're
it.
planning on doing a thing too to play alongside our players. So we're going to be making characters on the fresh start servers as well, and then publicly playing those through the Try on Worlds live streams and just
Yeah.
playing alongside.
I hope people like watching me steal stuff and making cheese,
I
because
think
that's going
I'm
to be
going to
my
die
stream.
a lot.
You're going to die a lot.
I'm gonna die a lot.
I'm going to like run around looking for stuff to steal, and Seraphina's just going to like go be awesome. I don't know. She's going to have like a group of people playing music and dancing. Like
Probably.
it's going to be the Pied Piper over there.
Those are each of the different ways that we
we
ArcheAge.
all play.
Yep.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're excited.
Well, thanks so much for showing us the game.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you much.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.